Imagine a mind cluttered with worries, doubts, and countless distractions, like a crowded room where every corner is occupied by old memories, fears of the future, and the persistent echo of negative thoughts. In this space, it's difficult to move, to breathe, to find clarity. But what if you could empty your mind, create space for new possibilities, and become the architect of your own destiny? Once in a small village nestled at the foot of a mountain, lived a young man named Aaron. He was known for his curiosity and his restless spirit. Every day, Aaron would ask questions about life, about happiness, about success. Yet, the more answers he sought, the more confused he became. His mind was like a shelf, stacked with books he'd never read, each one representing an opinion, a piece of advice, or a worry. One day, Aaron heard of a wise sage who lived atop the mountain. People said she possessed the secret to a peaceful and powerful life. Determined to find answers, Aaron set out on the journey, climbing the steep paths, braving the cold winds, and finally reaching the sage's humble hut. He entered breathless and began to pour out his questions about work, love, failure, and the meaning of life itself. The sage listened quietly and then, without a word, began to pour him a cup of tea. She filled it to the brim, yet kept pouring. Hot tea spilled over, drenching the table. "Why are you still pouring?" Aaron exclaimed. The sage looked at him with kind eyes and replied, "Your mind is like this cup, full of thoughts, opinions, and anxieties. There is no room for anything new. To truly learn, to grow, to find peace, you must first empty your mind." Aaron was puzzled. He had always believed that the more he filled his mind, the wiser he'd become. But as he sat in silence, the words began to sink in. He realized how much of his energy was spent replaying old failures, worrying about things he could not control, and clinging to beliefs that no longer served him. The sage continued, "When your mind is empty, it is open. You become receptive to new experiences, flexible in your thinking, and able to see opportunities where others see obstacles. To empty your mind is not to forget, but to let go. It is to clear away the clutter so you can focus on what truly matters." Aaron stayed with the sage for several days, learning not through lectures, but through quiet reflection. He practiced letting go of his fears, his rigid expectations, and his attachment to the past. He learned to breathe deeply, to listen, to observe without judgment. Slowly, he felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. When Aaron finally descended the mountain, he was changed. The world was the same, but his experience of it was different. He was no longer trapped by the noise in his mind. He saw beauty in simplicity and found strength in silence. Challenges became opportunities, and setbacks transformed into lessons. The story of Aaron teaches us that the most powerful changes begin within. When you empty your mind, you make space for growth, creativity, and resilience. You become the master of your thoughts rather than their prisoner. In moments of doubt, remember the overflowing teacup. Pause, breathe, and let go. Clear away the clutter and watch as your life unfolds with new energy and purpose. The journey to an empty mind is not about forgetting who you are, but about discovering who you can become. Embrace the power of possibility and let your mind be the canvas for a life transformed.